Okay, here's your jumpers run. I can't even remember what day it was. Saturday. You had some pretty nice runs. I remember you just, it's like you're so close having these perfect runs. That was nice. Okay, that was pretty good actually. Okay. I mean, I think you already know, and we already talked about what happened here at this tunnel. But, okay, so I don't think it was so much that you were curling this way, because you actually weren't curling that way very much, but you had a pretty dramatic deceleration. And my guess is that you were doing that because you knew you were going to come back up here and do a blind cross between the red and the pink jump. So this is just one of those things that's kind of hard to figure out. It just takes experience to figure it out. But either you need to plan on, running in deeper and then turning around and getting out of there, or you need to time your motion in the space that you have here so that you don't decelerate. Because I'll back it up and we can watch it, but you had a pretty sudden deceleration, and she just responded to that. And in addition, you were sort of curling that way, so. But you still managed to get up there and do the blind. This cross on the flat was pretty nice. That was good. I liked that. Now these next couple of crosses are pretty late, and I don't know her level of commitment in the weaves. I don't know how far you can pull ahead or how lateral you can be. It looks like you can be a little bit ahead of her, and when she entered the weaves, she was actually quite a bit in front of you, and you gained on her, and then you were a little bit ahead. So, and from what I've seen, it seems like she's pretty reliable weaver. So you needed to get up to this jump a lot sooner. And one sort of trick is, if the dog will allow you to be farther ahead, you can pull ahead while the dog is still in the weaves, and it gets you that much closer to that jump. That makes sense. Because in this case, you could have just kept going in a straight line, so you didn't even have to peel off from the weaves laterally. So you sort of stay with her, though, and now your cross is just going to be late because you're even with her and you're not ahead of her. So here she's taking off, and you've got your arm up, but you've barely started your rotation. Now she's in the air. So she can't do anything. So here, this stride right here is the one where she needed to know what was happening. And you did have your arm up, okay, but your motion is still this way, and that's always the strongest cue. No matter what our arms and shoulders and everything are doing, motion is a really strong cue. So this stride right here is where you really should have had your cross done or almost done when she's where she is now. Because now she takes off, and she's just going to take the jump this way because she can't, when she took off, that's the direction she was going, and she was extended. But you keep moving, but you make sure that you have her. So that was a good recovery. And then this one is late as well. So this one, you didn't even put up your outside arm until now, and she's already over the bar. So this cross, even if we got our cross down at this jump done sooner, this one was still really easy to get late. But if you can feel that when you're walking it and you're planning what you're going to do, then you should plan on when your dog is, halfway to 3/4 of the way between those two jumps, putting that outside arm up. Okay, and it's a little tricky, right? Because you might risk pulling the dog off, except your motion is still going this way. But, if I do that too soon with my dogs, they'll pull off. But it just kind of depends on the course and how fast they're going to be going and how many strides I think they're going to take between these two jumps, because if they're going to land and only take one stride and take off again, I have this window right here to tell them where to go. And your dog takes more strides between jumps, but you probably only have, she probably takes 2 strides between those jumps, and that's the time that you have to tell her where to go. The other thing that applies to everybody, all of us, in all situations, that I'm trying to wrap my head around right now, is that you need to cue the turn or the jump or whatever when the dog needs the cue, depending on based on where the dog is, not where you are. And so, we tend to, when we walk it, we're like, okay, I'm going to come up here, and then I'm going to do a front cross, and then I'm going to go this way. But what needs to happen is we need to think, okay, when my dog is here, no matter where I am, I need to do a rotation and do my front cross. And, that's easier said than done, but that's what we need to do. The dogs need to know the cues, the stride before they take off for the jump. And if we're behind, then we need to cue it when they're a stride before they take off. It doesn't matter if we're not where we envisioned we would be, if that makes sense. But like I said, easier said than done. So this cross is a little late, but you get her back. It wasn't too bad.